Hi, my name is David Brooks, and this is my persuasive speech. When you were growing up, who was your best friend? Who was your favorite sports figure? Who was your favorite musician? Now I ask, who was your favorite teacher? Can you name one? Can you name more than one? Teachers deserve more compensation for the impact that they have on all of us. Teachers touch more lives, arguably, than anyone else in today's society. Anyone who has been successful in life can usually pinpoint a teacher to whom they give the credit of their success. My wife has been a school teacher for 7 years, and I have been exposed to many aspects of a teacher's life that made me realize they should make more money. From the lower than average starting pay and the higher than average hours per week required to do their job, to the expenses that they must cover out of their own pocket and the increasing responsibilities being placed on them, teachers should be paid more money. Let's discuss a few of these reasons today. Teachers earn a lower than average pay compared to other degrees. According to CNN Money, elementary teachers have the second lowest starting salary compared to other college graduates. If you notice on the chart here, the education department was only making right at $30,000 for their starting pay, increasing up to upwards of $51,000 with engineering. There was one lower, it was the liberal arts department, it was like $28,000. The low pay discourages people from wanting to become teachers. If you had higher pay, it may bring in more qualified people to do the teaching jobs. About.com states that many teachers will teach summer school or get summer jobs to help increase their yearly salary. Many people have to do odd jobs to supplement their income so that they can make it through the year with landscape work or handyman jobs, things like that. Teachers do not get raises based on merit. The quality of the job that a teacher does has no direct correlation to the amount of pay that they make. One teacher could have the best test scores in the state, and the teacher right next to them could have the lowest test scores in the state. And if they've been teaching the same amount of time, then they're going to have the same amount of pay, which some people kind of frown on. Education majors spend as much time in college as any other majors do, so they should pretty much be on par with some of these other majors. Teachers have spent 4+ years in school, just like all the other graduates. They've also done at least one semester of student teaching, at what point they get no pay, and it's usually not even covered by scholarship or student loans. Now that we know about what the average teacher makes, let's look at the amount of time required to do their job effectively. Teachers work more hours than the average worker does. Teachers are in the classroom for 7.5 to 8 hours a day. Almost every bit of this time is spent with the kids. They do not have the privilege of a lunch break that a lot of other jobs do, because even when they're at lunch, they're managing the unruly children in the cafeteria. Even on their off periods, there are usually children in their classroom doing makeup work or things like that, and they're always having to help those children so they can't accomplish some of the tasks that would benefit them to accomplish on their off period. Creating lesson plans and grading papers is done on your own time. This keeps the teachers at school very late, or often they're working at home very late when they do make it home. Seminars, meetings, and other school functions, such as sporting events and parent-teacher conferences, are all added to the workload of a teacher. To really get involved with students, it is a good idea for the teacher to go to events around the school, like the students' ball games and things like that. This just adds to the amount of things that a teacher has to juggle around. With an understanding of the lower wages and higher workloads, we can now look at some of the costs of being a teacher. Teachers have added unavoidable expenses that generally come out of their own pockets. The teacher purchases many of their classroom material out of their own pocket. School districts only allow a certain amount of money to be spent on certain items. Often that amount of money is rather small. There's only a few things that they can buy with that money also. They're restricted on what they can purchase. Any purchase outside of these expenses or above the amount the teacher has to cover on their own. There is a charge for some of the classes and workshops that teachers must attend to remain licensed. In the state of Mississippi, for instance, license must be renewed every 5 years, and the license renewal requirement range from 10 CEUs to 6 college hours. And all of these workshops and classes cost the teacher that much more money just so that they can remain in the job that they already had before. To increase their salaries, the best way is often to advance their degree, which is an added cost for the teacher to pay. Furthering their education in ways like going to graduate school is another expense that is not generally returned to the teachers. There are some programs that help compensate the teacher for some of these expenses for grad school and things, but oftentimes the teacher is paying that on their own. Now that we've discussed the cost associated with being a teacher, let's look at the growing amount of responsibilities that teachers face. Modern day teachers have more accountability for student achievement than teachers in the past did. According to the government website, the Individuals with Disability Education Act ensures services to children with disabilities throughout the nation. This places more burdens on a teacher to adapt their plans to the needs of the students. These needs could be learning disabilities or giftedness. The teachers must create new plans that work with any range of these students. Teachers have to deal with the dictates of standardized testing and the matching curricula for this. The No Child Left Behind is the most visible form of these tests. Signed in 2002 by George W. Bush, the bill requires that all schools display proof of meeting a minimal set of academic standards. Meeting these standards often requires the teachers to focus on items that are going to be on the test, in which they refer to teaching to the test. This teaching to the test can lead to many demands and stresses to a point where teachers may be praised or criticized for student performance, with more emphasis generally placed on the criticism. Teachers are expected to hold students to high performance levels, often with no regard to outside factors that they can't control. Things like the children's household and the parents' involvement in the students' schoolwork and things like that. As always, teachers are responsible for classroom management and discipline. Classroom management can be very stressful, especially as classroom sizes increase and the budget decreases for most schools. They're cramming more children in classrooms with the teachers. This aspect of the job is growing much more difficult. According to stateuniversity.com, during the period from 1992 to 1996, teachers were the victims of 1,581,000 non-fatal crimes that occurred while at the school. So this makes it much more difficult for teachers to discipline the class when there's a chance you're going to be a victim of a crime if you try to do so. I hope you understand some of the reasons why teachers deserve higher pay. They work hard, long days for lower than average pay. They pay for many things in the classroom on their own, and they are accountable for the success of every student that they encounter. Teachers need our support. Have you thought of your favorite teacher yet? Don't you think that they're worth it?